living a life from a shrunken state. And fast forward, ironically, after the relationship ended, God had me to pivot and go into digital media with podcasting, and boom, and here we are. And um, the desire to continue my education from one point being an undergrad college dropout to now I'm a first year PhD student.
Yes,
But
congrats.
thank you. You're one of the people that I just look up to. Like, man, she's awesome. And but the person I was with did not encourage or desire some of those things. And so again, although the relationship ended, I'm thankful for the fact that it did, but I
Yes.
also learned of the importance. We think about being unequally yoked is just a spiritual thing, but
Mhm.
also it ties into other areas of your life. Do you have the desire to start a business, or do you have the desire to further your education? Do you like to travel? Do you like new
Yes.
things? Yes, the spiritual part, the church part matters, but there are other components of our lives that falls under that umbrella of whether we're, yoked unequally or not.
For sure. So I love, I'm telling on myself, but I like the Bridgerton series, right?
Yes.
And it highlights an era where marriage was more transactional, right? While it is not that deep for us now, I think
Mhm.
that sometimes we fail to realize that even the people who love the Lord um, and are called according to his purpose,
Mhm.
everybody has their own stuff, right? So you can love him, you can speak in tongues, read your Bible 3 times a day, and be a horrible steward of money, right? Or you can have different vices that go against the will of the Father.
Mm.
Who you marry, and I liken friendship in the same way, right? But who you marry matters outside of the four walls of the church and outside of their relationship with God. That is why I go back to saying, like, how I wish um someone would have told me, right? But now I tell everybody that I'm that single and waiting and looking, you really need to get in the trenches of who you are and who you are meant to be. Because
Mhm.
let's say, if you, everybody wants to be a millionaire, right? So everybody, but are you actually preparing, budgeting, being financially disciplined enough for that lifestyle? And then whoever you're going to attach to you, are they capable of going in the direction where you are asking the Lord to bless, to
Or
favor,
learning together. At least
or
working
learning
towards it, yes.
together? Right. It matters. But I use that to say everybody wants to be a millionaire, but we're talking about other things, right? If you're called to be a preacher, you're going to need somebody that knows how to intercede, right? And we're not talking about coming to the table with a level of perfection. What I'm more so mentioning is a level of awareness, heightened awareness, right? Even I am not the person yet who the Lord has called me to be, but being aware of who I am now and being aware of where I am going helps me decide, that relationship, that friendship, that may not be the best for me, right?
Mhm.
A friend of mine, she's a soror of mine, and she talks a lot about how earlier on, one of the things that she was very intentional about is the fact that there is an addictive personality in her bloodline, right?
Mm.
And so, because she knew that, the way that she would steward herself as a gift for whoever the Lord is preparing for her is to be able to say, if you struggle with discipline, if you also have an addictive person, you have something that you can't, you and I might not need to come
Mm.
together,
Right.
because I already know how Paul talks about everybody having a thorn, right? We have to come into knowing not just the great parts about us and how the Lord will use us and favor us and platform us. How is the enemy about to set you up? What's in your bloodline? What is in your innate DNA, the part of your flesh that even you are going to have to kill daily? And being able to steward that knowledge, that's what I'm saying, like stewardship, not just over tangibles but over the intangibles, becoming more aware of your gifts, your graces, but also the thing, your kryptonites, the
The
things that will slip you up,
kryptonite. The
the people
kryptonite. Yes.
that will slip you up. There are some friendships before I met my husband, we not even entertaining. because I already know I will be in a sunken place with you, and choosing to avoid some of those things because of that heightened level of awareness, I think is top tier stewardship in singleness, right? Coming to a place where it's not just about all the good that but the parts of me that the Lord is still refining and giving him the space to continue to refine those things before he calls you into a present season.